Yeah, I'm gonna take that out at some point. Oh, this is fun. My road sign. Somewhere in here. Welcome back, guys and girls, to Dad's Toy Garage. Today, now that we've got our quarter panel templates made and fabricated up, we're going to be cutting this thing apart. But before we get into that, we're also going to have to brace it. As you can see here, this is a little bit of what we're going to be doing today. And then we're going to cut out all the bad metal on the outside of this thing. So let's get into it. Let's get her done. And let's have some fun, because I'm looking forward to getting new sheet metal on this truck. And by the way, we're not saving much of this shell. It's pretty rotten. So let's do it. Alright, guys and girls, now that we've built this template, I still have to figure out exactly how I want this to run here. It kind of runs like this. Right now we have a dent here that's prohibiting me from getting this properly done. I'll still have to take the marker light out of here and mark where each of these goes. I can come back to that. What I've done is, right here I got a 188 wall tubing. It's 1.5 inch thick, and what we're going to do with that is we're going to build a brace that goes across the back to keep this from sagging. This tailgate will be gone, and then we'll weld, we'll be cutting this up, and then we'll weld some, after it's attached there, it's going to be welded from here to there on the frame rail. That should keep everything in place, and then everything gets cut out of here. That's on the outside, and then I'll start with the rockers. Normally I don't cut everything out, but I've templated it and there's nothing left here to save except for this thin little piece. You'll see us get into that. So Tony's going to come down and help out. The top is coming off today, the roll bar is coming off, and all the seats are coming out of here. And then we'll be doing some other bracing. I'd like to add a bit of bracing to the frame, to the floor, keep this level here, because when I cut this out, the rear sill, and make a new one, I need the floor not to sag. So there'll be that, and I'll probably brace the sides, like angle braces down from on the door jamb area here. So that's kind of what's going to happen with that. So the first thing I do is get this patch template off of here, and I'm going to weld the tailgate on, because I have a feeling that when I bolt this all together like I have, it's kind of held it into shape. So I think if I weld that on here and there, because this is a garbage tailgate, it's homemade farm special, that'll keep it in alignment to match with this roof. And then I'll weld a cross brace in there. I got a little bit more tubing that we'll use for that. So let's get this patch off of here. And it's all being marked out. Well, take a good look at it, guys and girls, because that's the last time you'll see it with body panels on it. Alright, tailgate is tack welded on here. It's a heavy tack weld, my style, and one there. So that shouldn't shift. I'm going to get the bolts out of the top here. I think Tony will be here shortly. And then I think I'll be running a brace probably across from here till there, or there down while we put the sides on. We'll see. Whatever allows me the room to work and weld panels on will be best. Tony's showing me what pop rivets do.
Oh, these ones aren't going to pop. Maybe these are better now.
No, you can pop it. It pop. Yeah, but basically these patches are pop riveted in, and they're supposed to hold the roll bar in, guys. It's really add a couple beverages and then let's fix the Land Cruiser and go bush hunting, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Guns in the truck, right?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
kidding.
to match the bullets.
Yeah.
Let's just put this to the pile that we're gonna grow. How they're gonna do that exactly? He didn't say that much.
Okay.
But, you know, I think we might have some welds right here. Like one weld holding something.
What?
Just enough.
Take that rocker out,
Yeah, I'm going to take that out at some point. Oh, this is fun. My road sign. So somewhere in here there will be more rivets hiding, I think.
Okay. Did the other side have them there?
I ended up cutting it at this point,
Okay.
just because I didn't, everything was in the way, so. You can tell the people if I'm nuts or not, eh? I'm excited though, guys. Tony had to, I think you realize that I'd be rebuilding all the body now, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it makes me a little bit anxious just for your sake.
That is it.
That's such a big project. But I know you're not scared of it, so.
I think my Celica was close to this. I saved the transmission tunnel.
What is this?
The fuel tank is right there by you.
No, this little thing up here.
Is it evaporation emissions type stuff?
Oh yeah, it says something about the, yeah.
They won't actually have it. They won't tell the guy safety like that, so.
Well, this runs to these hoses before into the engine.
And those will be for return, right?
No,
Yeah.
no, it'll be like so it'll pull a little bit of vapor out of this.
Okay.
So this is so that if your tank doesn't bleed vapors, the vapors get caught here, and then it pulls the vapors into the engine.
Is that
using
maybe
these hoses.
charcoal canister in the cab, right?
Yeah.
That I want to keep the.
Yeah.
I want to keep a form of one so it doesn't make the shop stink.
Oh, okay.
Apparently it stinks otherwise.
It would, yeah, like especially the oven. Yeah, it would over time. So I mean, if it works, there's no harm in keeping it.
Yeah. All right, guys, girls, we and Tony got her stripped down. Thank you very much, Tony, for coming out. That was pop riveted on, and brazing welding was holding in place there and there. The rest was pop riveted out of who knows what kind of tin. I like to say street sign. So next step will be when we got the roll bar out too. You want to see that? There was patches here. This would, as Tony and I said, wouldn't have saved your life anyways. If you rolled over, it would have pushed through, kind of like I figured. Other side's the same. But what I do have is pieces I can make templates off of. Very, very usable pieces for that, including the bolt holes. So that's good. Next step will be figuring out exactly where I want to run the bar across the top here. And then I'll weld bars to this frame rail, make sure it's squared up. And then I can get to cutting, and probably building this piece will be first on the list. I've got a body mount kit coming, so I can slide them in there and see exactly how much gap I have to make up with those. Yeah, tomorrow morning the plan is my father-in-law is going to come by, and we're going to brace up the bottom of the Land Cruiser, get it square. I got a bit of a drain kind of in the center of the shop floor, just under the bumper there, and everything in the floor tapers to that. So we're going to build some braces under the frame, get it sitting level so I can make sure that, I'll show you in a second here, that this thing is not sitting crooked. So yeah, because the drain is right there, the floor kind of has some wave to it. Plus, I think if the suspension's not hammered out, the whole truck leans a bit like this. So I would like to make sure it's just suspension that's leaning. If not, then at least when we get the frame square, I can get the body level for rebuilding, because now would be the time to do it. All right, we got our bracing starting here. This is all welded tight, and this is still loose, so I can move this. And when I get to know the body, I've ordered a shim kit, a body mount kit for this thing. And that will give me the height I need here that I can get right. And once I know the height of each shim, and I know this rail is straight, then I can raise and lower these bars to get them level and such and such. But basically, this is going to be my framework. It'll get tack welded to the rear frame. It's tack welded here. And then when I cut everything out of the bottom here, these rails will stay level once I get them leveled and squared up. So that is the next thing here. Is tomorrow we're going to level this thing with some wood on the bottom of the frame rails. You'll see that happen. And then from that point, I can start leveling this rail and this rail here. And once I know that's good, like I say, then we can tack weld it onto this frame and we'll be good to go. All right, check that out, guys and girls. This thing is perfectly level. My father-in-law came down. He's like a super awesome carpenter and he can see level pretty much. But we got a laser level out, leveled this thing, and if you look at the lights versus the truck, we're square. And I can always measure from here up to the roof, because the roof is level, to double check my level if anything shifts. But we got our bracketry welded on at level here. We got wood blocks under there and we shimmed it up till it became level. So that's sitting on the frame like that. And this side took these, because like I said earlier, we have a drain in the floor over here, so everything slopes towards it. We got the drain right there. It took a bit of shimming because it was not just out one way or this way, it was like kind of all tapering in. So that thing is ready to rock. I've also got, this is original, this isn't original, but this is the original floor that's attached to it. So what we have is this level to this now too. And when the body mounts come, we can all build it into place. So the next thing I gotta do is cut most of these quarters out. When I have metal coming on Tuesday, it's Saturday morning right now. I'm also gonna weld, I got some C channels, 16 gauge that I'm gonna weld into this brace that I'll build for, then the quarter will weld to that. And then that'll all be squared up. And once that's all done and the sheet metal's on the outside, we can start on the inside. Let's talk about this evening. Bob came down. He worked on his project. He's repairing some frame rails for his project car. Maybe some point we'll show you that if he wants to feature it on the channel. But while he did that, I worked on bracing. Like I said earlier, that section is done here. I added braces here. They came out of the tailgate and here. And they're just to hold this into this. The reasoning for that is I don't want it to move more than necessary, and that'll keep this from flexing this like this way. And I got to take a measurement yet from that pinch weld to that one, and then I know where to put it back together because that's original Toyota steel that hasn't moved. Next bit of bracing I did, I built this thing here. I'm hoping that's sufficient. I've triangulated it to some degree off of the one piece that's going to be staying, and as is that one, so they're kind of tied together. Yeah, so that'll keep it structured that way for now. And the last thing I did, because the body mounts are shot down here, I know this floor is at the right height. I did all the measurements in here, so this is at the right height here to keep this floor. I don't know if I showed you guys yet or not. The original floor is under there and someone's put a sheet on top. But that keeps that at the right height, so when I cut this out, the floor shouldn't droop, is kind of what I'm hoping. At least the corners where it matters. If it droops in the middle, it's fine. We're going to build a new piece there. And then I finally pulled this seat out. Original metal, maybe some there. But as you can see, that side was the same, so patch on patch on patch on patch, just to make everything work for the bush, I guess. So yeah, that's not happening till that's done, and that's not happening until we get the outside starting here, there, and all around. Tailgate will be last, but I don't think that's as big a deal for me at this point. I want to get this tub done. But she's stiff again. That's good. And I'll figure out where I want to go from here. I got to start removing metal and finishing up the quarter panel templates I have there. I got to rehang them and do this a little bit here once I get some stuff cut out. Probably take measurements on these guys. And if you look in here, we still have marker lights, so I'll probably put those measurements, because I think legally I have to have marker lights go back on this vehicle to pass our safety inspection. So I felt I needed 2 more braces. I got one running across here to keep everything from shifting as much. And then I went on door braces, 1 and 2, and they came out of here. It's nice that I can reuse some of the stuff and it doesn't cost me money. It's a nice thick piece of angle iron, both sides. And that should keep, because now we got this and this tight, plus it's all of everything on the floor is where it needs to be. So now I should be able to start cutting, and the goal is to cut out rockers, cut out this. We'll show it when you get to it. You'll see it when it's done. And cut out this. And we should be good. Nothing should be moving at this point. All right, today's progress. Everything's braced. I cut out this section here. I ground the spot welds, what was left off, so it sits flush here. I'm gonna have some rust repair to do right in this area here. And this had accident damage, so I gotta hammer and dolly this out, and I'll replace that piece. It'll be secondary after the quarter. I got it cut till here. I gotta clean this up and see where the rocker goes. We'll cut the step off, and then we'll clean this up here. That'll be another part of the job. And it was a bit of a big job getting this out. Somebody's homemade piece. You can see the body mounts weren't holding anything more. I cut it here, and you can see the floor. So I got my original line where the floor goes. What I'm going to do is probably just cut it down the middle here. I think this part is still structural, but there's like 3 layers here. So I'm going to cut it down the middle, and then I can get a good look at my floor, but I need to save that to build patterns off of. So that is the next thing we're going to do, is trim that back, get these corners cleaned up. I'll show you later when the parts come what we got planned in this area here and this area here. I've got some neat parts set up to be similar to factory. And then after that side's cleaned up, we'll clean up this side same way. I got to save the fuel door, so I'm going to cut around there and then just grind the metal off of there is the plan. I might just actually separate it all, and then I can use this in the template, add that little bit for the flange edge there, and we'll take the rocker off, and then we'll start fabricating. Floor is all staying in there at this point, so I have something to pattern off of. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the progress. All right, we got parts. We got, keep my finger in the right focus here. So we got rocker panels, and these are, which are the long ones here with the bend already. I gotta put the cut in there. And then we got these guys, which will be uprights for here. And then here is the rear sill. And I went off measurement I was told online. So you can see I got a long one, and I got one that fits over it. And I'm gonna have it so it allows flange. I'll bead roll an edge in there so the floor can spot weld to it right here. And we'll put our bends in there. I'll show you how I plan on doing that. And I got to weld a couple braces in. And these are quarter panels. So they're all 16 gauge except that one's a 14 gauge. And the rear sill is the one that's going to fill this gap here. And for those of you who are wondering, this is when I say rocker, it's this piece. In North America, we call them rocker panels. Other parts of the world, it's a sill. So yeah, and then we have our quarter panels are going to fill this part right here. And I had that done at a local shop. All they do is sell metal and bend it to your specifications, and they're called Bend It. All right, here's something interesting to give you guys a bit of perspective how much I'm keeping on this truck from the tub. This piece here, this piece here, this piece here, same on that side, and I'll rebuild this if one doesn't come along. The edges are gone around it. Everything else you see here besides the framework is gone. And we're gonna wrap sheet metal around the outside like factory, and then we'll go do the inside like I've been saying. So I've got the door frame trimmed up on the outside, so I'm ready to put a rocker here. We got a little bit more work in this area to do, but I want to get this rocker panel fit up and the quarter panel fit up with each other. Well, that's exciting. I've got this all cleaned up. Old rocker out. I'm going to keep this as a reference here. Kind of, actually I mean this point here, and it also shows me the size of hole I need to drill to hold the running board on here. I guess I gotta take this body mount out of there yet and put the new one on when I do fit that up, but that won't get fit up until I have the floor one, so they all kind of sit where they need to, and that's not my concern right now. But what I do have is original piece of floor or piece of rocker bottom, so I can confirm off the templates I made. So we are ready to receive that. Behind here is done. I fixed the accident damage on both sides. Now it's got to be rust repaired. As you can see, it's Swiss cheesed, but I've got this piece made here that I told you guys about earlier. It's gonna fit in here.